Hello everybody, my name is Zach, aka The Weather Gamer, bringing you the draft recap for NCL Blitzle Season 9. I am back in NCL. I did have to drop out of Season 8 just for personal reasons when I took that vacation. Temporary retirement, whatever you want to call. Before anyone comments down below, Zach, aren't you in 4 leagues now? Technically yes, but at the time I'm recording this, I already played my Week 6 match for LDL, which means there's playoffs, so at most I'm gonna have 3 weeks, assuming I, win quarters, win semis, and then play a championship game. At most, I have 3 weeks in 4 leagues, which is fine. I'll be okay for 3 weeks. It won't tax me too much. It's just a little bit of overlap, and if I get knocked out of playoffs early, then I'm back down to 3 sooner. So. I'm trying to stay in 3 without overlapping too much. It's just kind of how it happened, unfortunately, with the timing. So we are running under the Chicago Corviknights because they were the only team unclaimed at the time. The Charizards are about to finish their season in LVL. Obviously, the Bearticks are tied up in PBAL, and the Zero Aura are tied up in BRL. So we ended up with the 4th pick. Again, I don't know how I keep having this luck, but every season I've played in NCL, I've been in the top 4. And every season I've traded out. However, I did not trade out this time with my new philosophy on drafting and all of that, and trying new teams and all that. I decided not to trade out of the top 4 this time, and I was actually going to go for something broken in the top 4. With all the Ubers that are allowed, Zamazenta, Darkrai, Genesect, Diospeed, and some of the Kyurem Black, but no Dragon Dance. With everything that was allowed, I really thought I had a chance at one of 3 Mons, and unfortunately all 3 Mons got sniped, which is where this draft goes into what may scare people into familiar territory, but I'll explain it when I am walking through it, why it's not how it was previously. So, anywho, first pick, Darkrai. That was my original, or first pick was Dragapult. I really thought Dragapult might make it to me at 3. Turns out I was wrong. I was going to try and do another Dragapult team. Darkrai goes 2nd overall. Okay, I guess I should have expected that, which sucks, because I was actually wanting to try Darkrai. 3rd pick is Kyurem Black. God damn it, Arthur. He took Kyurem Black right in front of me. I was actually going to go back and try Kyurem Black, because I haven't done it since the ill-fated Sun team in TBC. Almost a year ago now, since I last used Kyurem Black. So, top 3 picks off the board. Bam, bam, bam. I didn't really see any of the other Uber classified Pokemon, Ian's interesting Mons that normally are banned elsewhere but are being allowed. I didn't see any of them that I really wanted. I didn't want to go Garchomp, 1, because it was 200 points, and 2, I've not successfully used it in BRL. I need to go back to the lab and cook up some more, because when I was practicing during my retirement, I wasn't practicing with Garchomp. I was practicing with Charizard, I was practicing with the Lotties, I was practicing with Dragapult, I was practicing with Goodra, Hydreigon, all Haxorus. I did not practice with Garchomp, and I think that was maybe a mistake, but also probably a good thing because I was burning out with Garchomp. So at 4th overall, go ahead and flame me. Hang on, I gotta get this. Yes, I drafted Zero Aura for the 9th time, and this is where people are screaming, yep, he's back to his old ways, pre-retirement. No, I'm not. Zero Aura is actually pretty critical for what I wanted to build my team around, and you're going to see, I needed the speed. I've talked up Zero Aura enough that I'm just going to skip past talking about it, because there's really nothing else for me to say. It's a Zero Aura. You should know by now what I can do with it. So, coming into round 2, This is where I had a tough decision. I wasn't sure if I was going to take Ferrothorn again, like I have been lately, because Ferrothorn has done very well defensively for me, or if I was going to take another Steel type that I have been wanting to take for a very long time and just never have been able to get it, and never been able to get it at the price that I wanted. So I take Corviknight. Yes, round 1, Zeraora. Round 2, Corviknight. Back-to-back, and I'll talk about what happens in the draft later because somebody predicted one of my picks, and you probably know it already as well. I was like, shut up, don't give it away. I've been wanting to grab Corviknight for a while. It keeps vanishing on me because everyone seems to think it's a round 1 pick, and they take it. I love it as a defensive Steel type. I love the fact that I have Defog. It can be very, very annoying, defensively, both physically and specially defensive. And it puts in the work that it needs. I mean, I 6-0'd somebody with Body Press, Iron Defense, Carbonite. So clearly it can set up if it wants to, but it just serves as a nice defensive backbone and Steel type. Gives me a ground immunity to pair with Zeraora. I have Volt Switch and U-Turn, allowing me to pivot around between the two, and pivot into other mons on my team. I can deal with Bulky Waters with Zeraora for Corviknight. Corviknight can deal with the Rock type. I mean, Zeraora gets Drain Punch and CC, so it can break down Rock types too, but it's nice. It starts some hazard control for me and gives me a nice defensive bulky mon to sponge some hits. That has an offensive functionality. Speaking of defensive bulky mons with an offensive capability, I drafted Sylveon, and I know this looks a lot like, pieces of teams that I've drafted before. It's very common for me to draft Sylveon or Togekiss as my fairy type. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I do like using Sylveon and Togekiss as fairy types, and I have not had a lot of success even when I was laddering with anything else besides Lele and Finny and Primarina, and none of those fit what I was going to do here. So, I let those go, plus the points. And this is the only time I'm going to say this. Ian, just switch to a point-based draft with unfixed roster sizes. Seriously, dude, he's doing split tiers now. So there's tier 1+, 1, 1 minus, 2+, 2, 2 minus, that sort of thing. But it's 200, 180, 160. That's your tier 1, tier 1+, tier 1, tier 1 minus. It's 20, 18, and 16 points, Ian. Just switch. Just give in. Stop doing the tiers the way they are. Just give up. Come on, man. Anyways. But yeah, I get Sylveon here. Baton Pass, obviously Wish Passing, keeping Zeraora and Corviknight healthy is very good. This gives me a Spadef Wall, a true Spadef Wall paired with Corviknight as a defensive wall. Sylveon can be very good as an offensive setup sweeper with Calm Mind. It's a very good choice specs user. I love to use the onsets to put things to sleep and keep momentum in my corner by forcing things to switch or hit me and then put themselves to sleep, allowing me a chance to set up with something else in front of it or gain momentum potentially on a switch. So yeah, Sylveon is going to be here to try and keep things healthy and function as a Spadef Wall while also being an offensive threat, because I love me some offensive Sylveon. Speaking of another, you should know by now that bulky offense is my new play style, and you'll see why here in a second. Another mon that I've been very happy with lately. So I was debating Slowking versus Slobro and this and that, and then Slobro went 3 picks in front of me. So I was like, okay, Slowking it is. If you need to know why I love Slowking, go watch my BRL videos. That thing is 13-4, 13-5, something like 14-5. It's +9. It's the kill leader in BRL, which is amazing. But I love the Slowbro line in general, Galarian Standard, which I'm gonna try the Galar Slowking at some point. They're fat, they regen, they can pivot with teleport, and because they're Gen 1 mons, they have a massive move pool. Fire Blast, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, Drain Punch, Focus Punch, Actually, I don't think it gets Drain Punch. I think it's Focus Punch that it gets. Anywho, just massively massive move pools. Belly Drum. Physical Belly Drum Slowking incoming. I love using Future Sight. Future Sight is so much fun because it forces the Dark type in, allowing you to play around. Yeah, they're going to bring the Dark type in, but then you're going to bring in your Fighting type and kind of dictate how Future Sight allows you to dictate how the match goes a little bit, which is nice. It takes some control away from your opponent. And on the other side, it also just deals a shit ton of damage if your opponent has nothing for it. I love firing off Future Sights and then teleporting out. This thing can be physically defensive, especially defensive with an Assault Vest. It just sponges hits. I love the regen side of it. I wish I could have put together another regen core like I have in BRL, but I'll take what I can get. So there's Slowking. So 3 very defensive Mons with some offensive potential right behind Zeraora. Now, I get to try Rosarite. I've been trying to draft Rosarite since I came out of retirement. I had Ferrothorn because it just worked. But Ferrothorn and Rosarite were the 2 grass types that I've been trying to try for hazard utility. Obviously, Rosarite gives me spikes and T-spikes. So I have some hazards because hazards are very important for chip, allowing Zeraora to clean up, allowing future mons to clean up, that sort of thing. Yes, grass poison type. I don't have a ground immunity in my grass type, so Corviknight's kind of pressured to deal with ground types still. But again, Spike, T-Spike, thank you, phone. Obviously, Sleep Powder, Technician sets. No Hidden Power sucks, but Rosarite still has utility. Specs, Leaf Storm, you know, I'm still at plus, or I think -1 at that point. I can still kind of reliably fire off 2. It's an annoying mon, and it can be decently offensive. Base 95 speed's not bad, or is it 90? It's either 90 or 95. But it does give me some hazard control. It does give me some faster annoying grass shenanigans. So I picked up Rosarite here. We'll see how it works. But the goal is to set up spikes, T-spikes, rocks, all that sort of thing to help Zeraora and my other 2 sweepers take control of the game. Speaking of hazard control, I'm bringing back Ryperior. It's been a while since I drafted Ryperior. I think my team is better equipped now to deal with the problems that I've had with Ryperior in the past, which is taking Will-O-Wisps to the face. Sylveon, Slowking, Rosarite all don't really care about Will-O-Wisp. It gives me rocks now, so I can stack spikes and T-spikes and rocks. Massively physically defensive mon. So this is a true physical wall. Corviknight is a physical wall, but Ryperior has a much bigger physical defense stat. Pairs nicely with Slowking and Sylveon. I can Wish Pass into this. There's the Weakness Policy, Rock Polish set. It's a massively tanky mon, and with my team hopefully being better equipped to deal with Will-O-Wisps, I might not have to have Ryperior get beat down all the time because it gets burned. So I just wish it wasn't so damn slow. Up next, we pick up Gengar. Again, another mon that I was really into pre-retirement. Yes, it gives me a double poison type. Again, something I learned over retirement. Doesn't matter about typing too much as long as there's team synergy, and Gengar gives me a little bit of synergy, gives me some speed that I critically needed. Yes, there's a massive gap between Zeraora and Gengar, and unfortunately I don't fix that. And I still don't fix it because I actually have dropped. I dropped in week 1, so my transactions became valid. Week 2, I made a couple of drops because in the draft, when I get to where it's at, I had some questionable which dark type I was going to go with. And I went with one, and then after I drafted it, I was like, no, this isn't good. I need to switch out. So I made the switch, costing me 2 free agents right off the bat, but whatever. I mean, what else is there to say about Gengar? Specs, Scarf, Calm Mind sets potentially. Great move pool is a Gen 1 mon. It's got some hidden Hidden talents, you know, it's got Thunderbolt, it's got Giga Drain, Dazzling Gleam. So a lot of nice, really cool techie stuff that can be done. But yeah, so we take Gengar here. It gives me a ghost type, and that's what I was looking for. Okay, yeah, so literally the next pick. So this is one of the mons I dropped already. I took Alolan Persian. It was more of a speed pick, and the fact that I needed a dark type, but the more I sat with it, and the more I looked at it, and the more I tried to build week 1 for it, I did not like my chances with Alolan Persian going into the season, and so I dropped it, which is what I did last season too. When I drafted it, I dropped it. By the way, from last season's team, Gengar and Alolan Persian are back. We're back. Somehow I didn't realize I drafted those in Season 8. So what I ended up... I've got Alolan Persian here. It's nice because it parting shots, U-turns. It's got a physical defense stat that gets doubled due to Fur Coat. Technician's good. Rattle is okay. But its move pool just sucks. It's one of the few Gen 1 mons that just has a terrible move pool. And so I didn't think it was all that great, and I yeeted it. What did I yeet it for? Zoroark. Yes, I know, Zoroark. Another mon that I tend to draft a lot. I like Zoroark better. It's Disguise Shenanigans. I can play around with its move pool. Like, I learned that it and Zeraora are a couple of very common moves. It gives me U-turn. I can disguise it as Gengar and potentially fake as Gengar as well. I can disguise it as Corviknight as long as I U-turn. I don't think I can disguise it as my Mega. I might be able to disguise it as my Mega. There's potential that I could disguise it as my Mega. But anyways, I digress. Zoroark over Persian here. They're both fast dark types. It's just Zoroark does more, in my opinion, than Persian. So we take Hitmonlee as tier 5. I know another one of my... So Sylveon, Slowking, Hitmonlee are all coming over from my BRL team. I'm sorry, I've grown to really like Hitmonlee, and it's cheap. It was a tier 5, it was 40 points. That's cheap for Rapid Spin. And base 75 speed stats, not bad. Inner Focus so it can't flinch. Iron Fist to boost its punch-based moves. Throw a band on it. Throw Choice Scarf, the Damien set. We've seen that work in BRL. So, yeah. I take Hitmonlee here. Gives me some hazard control and gives me a fighting type. And yes, I know, 3 Gen 1 Mons back to back to back. The second Mon that I've made a transaction on, I picked up I drafted Claydol, second to last. I left my Mega. After round 4, almost everybody had Mega, and I talked to the 5 coaches that didn't have Mega, and we all agreed not to snipe each other until round 11. Or we all agreed we weren't going to take our Megas till round 11 from a sniping perspective. And we told each other our Megas, and none of them overlapped, so we were fine. Claydol was supposed to be here as a rapid spin and a ground immunity, as well as another stealth rocker, but I needed the points to upgrade from Persian to Zoroark. I needed 10 extra points, so this pick ended up becoming... What did this become? I don't even remember. Oh, it became Wishy-Washy. Yeah, another very slow water type, but very bulky. Oh, and apparently they're harassing me because I blew up my team again. Whatever. I didn't completely blow up my team. I just knocked it. I made the draft changes I should have done. Claydol has its purposes. I am going to try Claydol again someday in the future. I just need to find the right time to try it. I do think it has value. As a bulky, annoying Mon, it's another feature citer. It's great hazard control, setting up rocks and spinning things away. So I'll look at Claydol again in the future, but I had to take something out of tier 5, which is 30 points, because tier 5 minus was 20 points. So I had to take something, and I took Wishy-Washy. Why? I've never used Wishy-Washy. I know Wishy-Washy has caused me problems in the past. Specifically Season 8 of NCL. I had some horrible time dealing with Wishy-Washy in one of those games. I think it was Game 1 of last season. We'll give it a try. I do have Slowking to set Trick Room. So if I wanted to go the Trick House route, I could. As you can see, my team is not particularly fast either. I have Zero Aura and then a massive gap down to Gengar. And then from there, it's down to my Mega, which, if you haven't figured out what my Mega is yet, where you been? And then I drop to Rosarite, and then there's a big gap down to Hitmonlee. My speed tiers suck. My hazard control's not the greatest. And to quote Shade here, because he actually has reviewed my team, which he put me 7th out of 16 in the rankings. Comfort City, cores are good. I think they're all solid. Removal is good as well, or should I say, when you had Claydol. Hazard game is not that good. Speed tiers look fine for the most part, but you have a gap between 90 to 75, because I don't have a base 80 Mon. Gap between Gengar and Zero Aura could also be deadly, which it is. It's terrible. On my week 1 match, I gotta play Mega Lopunny and Spectrier, and they get to go down to Gengar's speed stat because they can't touch Zero Aura, which means they get to be bulky and they get to be modest and adamant, which is gonna be a pain in the ass. So, sorry, I keep getting sidetracked, but that's just old man rambling. So, Claydol. Now, the last pick, if you haven't figured it out, Shade predicted it round 3, literally, as he's doing his PRs. Zero Aura, Corviknight. Shade says, I bet your next Mon is Mega Charizard X. 3 for 4 of my logos. I literally messaged him, I said, you goddamn psychic, how did you know? I took X. Like I said when I was talking with Zero Aura, talking about the Garchomp, not taking Garchomp, I have been practicing with Charizard. I want to try Charizard again. I had what I thought was a pretty solid team in WWC Season 6, the one that this last season that I dropped out of, that was focused around Megazard X. And so now with my new insight into playing and having a bulkier team to wear the opponent down to get Charizard in and go boom, now I want to put that to the test with Charizard. Zero Aura is great for breaking the water types. Slowking can break the ground and rock types. Rosarite can break the rock types. Sylveon can play games with the other fairy types. Rosarite and Corviknight and Gengar can all clear out opposing fairy types. Steel types can't come in on this thing freely because of the fact that I have fire typing. So I think I built the team well enough around that Charizard can break late game if I can get it set up, or Zero Aura can break. Charizard can break early and get bulky grass types out of the way for Zero Aura to set up and sweep. It does pair nice. Gengar could come in and sweep potentially. It does pair nicely. It's not a perfect team. It's definitely flawed, but I think if I use it correctly, I should be able to put up another playoff appearance in NCL and maybe win a game or two in playoffs. But we'll see. I got some tough competition. I got some tough new coaches coming in. I got some tough drafts to play up against, and we'll see. So thank you guys for listening to me ramble, and I'll see you guys next time.